Hello, everyone. So nice to see so many friendly faces. Hello. Welcome to Girls Night Live. Do we have a special afternoon for you? Thank you for joining us again. Coming to you from Jefferson, New Jersey, we have Alana Van Der Sluys, founder of Freedom in Food Fitness, and she is here today to talk to us about intuitive eating. So we're going to say goodbye to that yo-yo dieting, and we're going to find out what intuitive eating is. So I'd like to introduce to you Alana. Thank you.
Good afternoon, ladies. Hello, hello. If you don't mind, I see some of you already have, which is fantastic. If you wouldn't mind turning on your cameras, if you're not doing something else or you're in a position where you can turn on your cameras, I feel like we can connect just so much better and really hear this message if I could see you all and speak directly to you. Part of the reason why diet culture can thrive the way that it does is because it counts on us to be afraid to show up unapologetically and confident as ourselves. So by turning on our cameras, it's just a little act of rebellion against diet culture. So let's be a little brave and rebellious this afternoon. All right. And if you want to, type your name and where you're from into the chat so I can say hi to you guys. I see that T. Adams is really excited to be here. I'm so excited to have you. We have more people coming in. This is awesome. So this is all about intuitive eating. And again, my name is Alana Van Der Sluys, and I am the founder of Freedom with Food and Fitness. So let's just get started. I will introduce myself. I am in training to become a certified intuitive eating counselor. I'm an author, a speaker, and I help women ditch diet culture, stop feeling crazy and out of control around food, embrace their bodies as they are today, not 15 pounds from now, and just really reclaim a love of movement and fitness. So if you want to follow me, if you really enjoyed this presentation and want more of intuitive eating, you can follow me on Instagram where I'm the most active. My handle is at Freedom with Food and Fitness. It's in the chat and it's also on literally every slide. So you can find it. If you missed this slide, you can catch it later on. So, you know, I really want to connect with you guys individually, hear your stories and see how I can better serve you. So, let's see, we have Lexi from Ohio, Giselle from Pennsylvania, hello, ML Robertson from Pacific Northwest, awesome, awesome. So today we're going to be learning about two key things, and those key things are the 10 principles of intuitive eating, which are kind of like sequential steps. And we're going to be looking at 5 common myths or maybe even fears that many have around intuitive eating. So at any time you have a question, anything at all, just type it into the chat and I'll try to answer them right away. But if I don't, it's not because I'm ignoring you or I didn't see it. It's because I plan on answering that question a little more thoroughly throughout the presentation. So I'm going to give you guys a question. Have you or are you currently on a diet, currently failed a diet, looking to quit dieting for good, or all of the above? Let me know in the chat right now. Are you A, B, C, or D? D. I'm assuming S was probably A or D. Could have been either one. D. All right, so a lot of you guys have a lot of experience dieting, not a lot of success in dieting, dieting over and over again, and you're finally ready for a change. And that's why you're here, which is amazing. On a journey, that's what I like, Michelle, on a journey. So guys, you are not alone. If you are D, clearly you can see from the chat that many people are in the same boat. You're not alone. And here's why. 95% of diets fail. And most are going to gain that weight and then some within the first 1 to 5 years. And at that point, you have to ask yourself, is it all of us? Or is it the way that diets are created that's failing us? So if you look at the stats for the contestants for that TV show, The Biggest Loser, most of them gained all the way back. And you don't see this because once the camera stopped rolling, you don't know about this stuff. Most of them gained the weight back. Most of them felt awful, they said, while they were on the show because of the lengths they had to go to lose that weight. Most of them gained it back and more because their bodies were eating away at their muscle. They were restricting and training so hard, their body ate all their muscles. When they regained the weight, it was regained back as fat. Their metabolisms, some of them permanently slowed down. Like seriously, look it up. It is absolutely horrifying the things that these people went through to lose the weight that they did. And And this is why it's okay for diets to fail us. The weight loss and weight management industry 2 years ago was a $192.2 billion industry. So they make money on our perceived failures because we're going to keep going back to them thinking that they can fix us and that they can make us happy and that they can make us worthy. All a bunch of BS, and this proves it. So here's a little bit about my journey. So I had orthorexia, which is when you're obsessively clean eating. I had binge eating disorder where I would restrict Monday through Friday and then binge eat on the weekends. And I had body dysmorphic disorder where I wanted six-pack abs and I was literally willing to do whatever I could to get those. I was so fixated on that one part of my body that my brain and my eyes actually couldn't see what was really in the mirror. So some of my habits were I was exercising every single day. I was eating under 1,000 calories a day. My weight determined my mood. When I stepped on the scale in the morning, if it was lower, I was like, yeah, girl, it's going to be a good day. And if it was higher, I was anxious. I was fearful. I was thinking about food constantly and how I could eat less of it. I was constantly on Pinterest, just looking at food and obsessing over food. I couldn't really think that well. I couldn't concentrate, lots of brain fog and lethargy. Irritable bowel, so lots of gas and bloating and stomach aches. My hair was starting to thin out, and I was logging every single bite that I ate on MyFitnessPal. Can anyone in the chat tell me, can anyone resonate with any of these behaviors? Okay, yeah, watching your food intake, yep. All of them, yeah, Addison, I hear you. The binge eating, yep, so common. The brain fog, yeah. It's real. It's real. And a lot of us experience these things. Yep. Food journal. There it is. Yep. So this is what saved my life. Literally, this saved my life. It was intuitive eating. And for those of you who don't know what intuitive eating is, I'll give you a definition. It's a self-care eating framework that integrates instinct, emotion, rational thought. It's weight inclusive. It's an evidence-based model with a validated assessment scale and over 100 studies to date that prove that it works. It's anti-diet, and it's not anti-weight loss, but it's anti-weight loss as the main goal. It promotes health at every size, and it works under the idea that you trust your body. You eat when you're hungry, you stop when you're full, you honor whatever cravings you have, and you keep nutrition in mind, general nutrition. So we're going to go over the 10 principles of intuitive eating, which were founded by Evelyn Tribole and Elise Resch, and then we're going to dive into some myths. So now these 10 principles are supposed to go in sequential order, but doesn't necessarily have to be the case. So the first thing that you need to do when you want to start becoming an intuitive eater is you ditch the diet mentality. So what we want to do here is we want to quiet the noise of media and of society that says we need to be thin, fit, muscular, or otherwise perfect. Social media has made these messages even more pervasive, unfortunately, and as a result, it's become more difficult for us to filter those messages from the personal narratives we have in our head. We start taking these messages in as fact, like thin is good. I'm only worthy if I'm thin. I personally can't look at the Explore page on Instagram anymore because the top results are so triggering with these like super fit and probably disordered people glorifying all this weight loss. So this principle suggests that we do a media detox. We weed out all the negative and disordered messages as much as we can and replace them with ones that come from a place of self-love and self-acceptance, like freedom with food and fitness. So yes or no in the chat. Do we follow some social media accounts that we compare ourselves to? Is that something that we're doing? Yep. I hear you, Caitlin. Yep, Addison. Good for you, Michelle. That's good. You're gonna have to tell us who you follow. I don't think so, but I'll check. Yeah, okay, yeah. The second is to honor your hunger. And I know this can be really scary sometimes, but hunger is a biological cue that your body needs energy and nourishment. And diet culture has kind of made us believe that hunger is this like sabotaging thing. It's trying to sabotage our diet, sabotage our body goals. Okay, yeah. But your body needs nourishment and it needs energy. And a lot of times these timed nutrition fads and this intermittent fasting diets, they promote these arbitrary ideal times to eat. But what happens when you're hungry right now? Do you wait the 2 hours until your designated eating time, or do you spend those 2 hours fixating on food and getting hungry and hungry and hungrier? Or do you just honor your hunger and eat right then? And spoiler alert, if you're an intuitive eater, you just eat right then. You eat when you're hungry. Sometimes I'm hungry an hour after dinner, and diet culture says you have to wait 3 to 4 hours before you eat again. But there's no scientific validity to that. So we listen to our body and our cues. Tia, what was number one? Number one was ditching the diet mentality. Good question. There you go. You guys are helping each other out. I love that. So things like, some people use diet soda, gum, or coffee to try to quell those hunger pangs until the appropriate time to eat comes. So ditching the diet mentality, we've honoring our hunger. The third one is making peace with food. So you have to give yourself unconditional permission to eat, not only physically, but psychologically. So with intuitive eating, you can eat whatever you want, whenever you want, in whatever amount that you want. And the reason that, because you're probably thinking, oh, no, Alana, because I'm going to eat a whole tub of ice cream all by myself in 10 minutes. And the thing is, if you did do that, the reason that you're doing that is either because you don't have proper emotional coping mechanisms and you're turning to food, or you're restricting and you've been denying yourself ice cream for so long. If we deny ourselves food for any amount of time for very long, we are going to shove our faces with it the minute that we get food. It's only natural. It's a biological response to feeling like we're in a famine. So if you make peace with all your trigger foods, you will ironically actually stop the urge to binging on these unhealthy foods. So yes or no in the chat, or not yes or no. What is a food that you feel is off limits? Tell me something. Tell me your trigger foods. Tell me what you're not allowed to have in the house anymore. Oh, girl, yes, ice cream. That's mine. That was my trigger food. Dessert. Yeah, I have such a sweet tooth. So yeah, for sure. Peanut butter. Oh, you guys love all my favorite foods. This is great. Chips. Good. Yeah. Right. So we feel we can't have these things in the house. So we don't buy them. We don't have them. And then once we're around them, oddly specific, frozen tater tots, but I do love them. Once we get these foods in front of us, we start binging them because we've been restricting them. So if we allow them, truly allow them whenever we want, that binging will stop. So number 4 is challenging the food police. So we had the diet mentality, which was social media and all the outside influences. Your food police is diet culture inside your mind. So it's that little voice inside your head telling you that certain foods and behaviors are good or bad or healthy or unhealthy. So in addition to the outside voices that we need to quiet, we need to quiet that inner critic. That thing needs to shut up, right? So that's the 4th principle. The 5th is discovering the satisfaction factor. It's one thing to be hungry and then eat and be full. It's another thing to be satiated. So food can be pleasurable. It can be the whole experience of going out to eat with your family and friends, right? Thanksgiving is coming. The holidays, Christmas, Hanukkah are coming. These experiences can be stripped of their enjoyment when diet culture makes us afraid of food and afraid of our body's natural cues. We can enjoy delicious food without guilt, and we can become in tune with our satisfaction in terms of what we're eating and how much we're eating. Number 6 is feeling your fullness. So many disordered eaters experience what we were talking about before, the binge restrict cycle, where we restrict because we're following some diet and we're white knuckling it. And all of a sudden the weekend comes, or a holiday or a party, and we binge on all the very foods that we had been denying ourselves. And then that leads to this snowball, these emotional feelings of guilt and shame, and then physical feelings of bloat or uncomfortable. How am I satisfied with food? A couple of things that I do is I allow all foods. I have a ton of brownies in my freezer. I have a ton of Halloween candy right now in my cupboard, and I just allow myself a little bit of that every time that I want it. I eat mindfully, so I sit down and I don't have any distractions around me, and I incorporate all my senses. What am I smelling? What am I tasting? What am I seeing? What does the texture feel like in my mouth? What sound? Is it crunchy? Is it smooth? Nice. Very good. Yep. So we want to feel full and satiated. That is the goal. Number 4 is coping with your emotions with kindness. So we're going to have negative emotions in life. That's just a fact of life. But instead of pressing them down and pushing them away, in intuitive eating, we learn that negative emotions can be valuable learning tools. So we don't bury them. We use them to appreciate the lives we have. We use them to get insight on what might be bothering us in our lives, or when something in our lives is misaligned. So there are many emotions that crop up in this journey. It's not a linear journey. It's not an easy journey, but we can learn how to manage and use those emotions. Number 8 is respecting your body. So real talk, extreme measures and extreme dieting is going to get you a different body. It's almost certain. But for how long, right? How long can we keep up whatever behaviors we're doing? At what cost is this coming at? So there's also a factor of genetics in your body size and shape, your metabolic needs, your nutritional needs. So we really need to learn how to respect our bodies as they are and not try to manipulate them or punish them when they're not as malleable as we hoped they would be, or as diet culture told us they would be. You can have any body you want. That's simply not true. You can, but it comes at a very high price of both your physical and your mental health. Number 9 is gentle movement. So movement, exercise, fitness, whatever you want to call it, it's the incorporation of movement and fitness that differentiates freedom with food and fitness from other intuitive eating programs and coaching systems. I do believe very strongly that fitness has a place in recovery, so long as it's not a trigger and it's not a focal point of disorder. So tell me in the chat, actually, what movement makes you happy? What type of exercise or fitness or just general movement? It could be anything from CrossFit to gardening. Lifting weights, me too. I think T. Adams and I need to be friends. Walking with dogs, oh nice. Biking in nature, yeah, great. Yeah, hiking, yeah, it's beautiful, right? When you get to the top, Pilates, walking, Simone, all right, coming out with the big guns, walking stacks. Hopefully not at the same time. Dancing, love it. Great, yes, awesome. Morning walks. Yeah, I love doing morning walks or evening walks, depending on if I'm working that day with my son Archer. He's 15 months old. It's like the cutest age. Dancing and exercise, love it. Yeah, I like the sex answer too. Last but not least is honoring your health with gentle nutrition. So many scoff at intuitive eating, believing that it's a philosophy that allows people to give up on their health and let themselves go, and it promotes obesity. And first of all, I hate that word obesity because it makes being in a larger body sound like it's a disease, and it's not. With intuitive eating, not only do we honor our cravings, but we eat what tastes good to us, and we consider how we're going to feel after that meal. We're in tune with our bodies before, during, and after we eat, and we choose things that we know are going to not only fulfill the craving, but leave us feeling energized and satisfied after. Now, I know this all sounds well and good, but your food police might be screaming right now saying this is totally not possible. I get it. I understand. I was there too. There's so many fears around this process and a lot of myths that are propagated by people who are fat phobic or steeped in diet culture. And you've probably seen some of these myths. So we're going to go over them really quick because we're running short on time. So the first myth is that you will only eat pizza and ice cream or chips or frozen tater tots or whatever you guys are saying forever. And that's simply just not the case. you're only craving junk food because you've been restricting it. If you allow yourself a little bit of frozen tater tots or ice cream or chips every day, you're eventually going to tire out. I made this mistake in college of making chicken parm, big tray chicken parm, all for myself. I was living alone. I had chicken parm for 8 days straight. I swear to you, I haven't had chicken parm since I was so just sick of it. When I go on vacation, it's all margaritas and fish tacos in the beginning. And by day 3, I want a salad. I want something that feels fresh and crisp and, nutrient dense. So I promise you, if you eat one piece of fun-sized candy, the same one every single day till next Halloween, you won't want to binge on it because it's available all the time. And in the beginning, you might have more ice cream than you would at the end of this process because you're just getting back in tune with having it in your life. So in the beginning, we eat more junk food as an intuitive eater, but as we move toward the end of the process, it starts to all balance out. Myth number 2, intuitive eating is also known as the hunger fullness diet. If you're somebody who's been dieting for a long time, you might try to turn this into a diet. I'm only going to eat when I'm like super, super starving, and I'm only going to stop eating when I'm a teensy bit full, when I'm not starving still. So we don't want to turn it into a diet. And the thing is, weight loss can no longer be your goal. And I know that's really hard for people to hear, for people who have been. Oh, we have a question. How long does the process take? Such a good question. It depends on everybody. It depends on how long you've been dieting, what type of disordered behaviors you have, how open you are to the process itself. So it really does take everybody a different amount of time. It could take months. It could take years. How do I approach alcohol? The same way I approach food. I have as much as feels good in my body. That I won't feel sick after, and I just have whatever I want. It doesn't have to be a light beer. If I want that Guinness, I go for that Guinness. I might only have one because I know more than that's going to make me loopy and sick. So same approach. But weight loss can no longer be your goal. And I know that hurts because a lot of people have this internalized idea that you have to be thinner in order to be loved, to be saved, to be validated, to be accepted. And it's just not true. So a lot of this work is more mental than physical in severing ties with those thoughts. So because we can't have weight loss be our goal here. You might lose weight, you might maintain weight, you might gain weight. It all depends on kind of where you are in the journey and how you got to where you are. But I'll tell you one thing, I have no idea how much I weigh. I haven't stepped on a scale and I can't tell you how long. And the reason for that is that I'm not going to let that number dictate how I feel. My weight is not my business. It's my body's business. It's doing the thing it needs to do to keep my soul in this body and doing all the things that I have to do. Yes, I like that, T. Adams. I go, girl. Number 3 is if you crave it, you must eat it. That's not true. Intuitive eating is not all about, I want a pint of ice cream, so I'm going to have a whole pint of ice cream. Again, we consider how the food's going to make us feel. Like personally, physically, I could probably pull down a whole half a pizza pie by myself if I want. Sounds real good. But I know, and this is real talk, I'm going to be super gassy after that because that's a lot of wheat and a lot of cheese in succession. And for me, that don't fly. So I don't do that. I'm still going to have the pizza, but I'm only going to have enough as what experience has told me will keep me satiated and happy that I had the pizza, but not sick. Number 4, myth, exercising, especially vigorous exercising, is a no-no. You can, if you are someone that enjoys physical activity and exercise and challenging exercise, you can still do that. The whole point of intuitive eating, when it comes down to it, is to feel good in our bodies. And movement makes us feel good and it's healthy for us. We don't need to do an hour. We can do 10 minutes. We don't need to do CrossFit. We can garden or go on a hike like you guys were saying. So we want it to come from a place of love. Oh, no longer. Carol from Facebook asked, no longer count calories. No, girl, you don't need to. Your body will tell you exactly how much you need if you listen to it. I don't weigh myself. I don't count calories. I don't count macros. I don't have my Fitness Pal. I just eat. and I eat good stuff. I had cookies and ice cream last night. Not gonna lie. Oh well, right? But then I had part of my lunch today was sliced up bell pepper. So it's, yes, I do enjoy life. This is so freeing, guys, let me tell you. But yeah, no more punishing workouts. Do what you enjoy. No more earning your food. You do what feels good to you. And if you like a challenge, do something challenging. I love lifting weights. I love challenging myself to lift heavier. It has nothing to do with how I look. It has everything to do with strength and health and just being someone who enjoys a good challenge. And lastly, you will inevitably gain weight forever and ever and keep gaining it. This is a big fear. And again, it's a tough one depending on your situation. If you're somebody who's in a bigger body, because you've been binging a lot and restricting for years, you might actually lose weight because the binging has made you gain more than you should be. If you're somebody like me who was very much underweight, I end up gaining weight through the process. But it doesn't matter. Like, I don't even know how much I gained, but I know I gained because I can see differences. But I love my body the way it is. I love my body so much more now than I did then at a higher weight because I know I'm doing what's right for myself. And yes, just for my G, I must be a lot happier. I am a lot happier. I'm so much more at peace. I have so much more brain space. I can create this side business of freedom with food and fitness and have my full-time job and, play with my toddler and have these wonderful things in my life because I'm not so fixated on dieting anymore. And my weight doesn't have a hold on me at all. So another thing that I just want to touch upon before we wrap up is that genetics is going to determine your natural weight set point. And everyone has their own unique set point that their body feels most comfortable at. So intuitive eating will tell you what that weight is. And your body's not going to want more food than it needs. So if you listen to it, it will tell you what to do. And I know that's all personally, very frustrating for a lot of people, but let me tell you, when you're done doing the mental math and just torturing yourself, your entire life opens up. So last but not least, there is so much more to unpack, a lot of uncovering your whys around wanting to lose weight and, why we think being thin is going to get us what we want in life. And the work is so nuanced and hard sometimes, but let me tell you, it's so much better than being stuck in the situation that you're in. I promise you, your weight is not your worth. And that's what I want to leave you with. I see someone who might be screenshotting that quote. Screenshot it, tag me on Instagram. I want to talk to every single last one of you. I don't do makeup. It's just a matter of balancing everything out. Yes, it's all a matter of balance. So next steps, because it's officially 4:30. Add me on Instagram, again, at Freedom with Food and Fitness. I know you guys are going to get a copy of this PowerPoint from Girls Night Live at some point as well. If you click the link, either this Linktree link here or click the link in my Instagram bio, you will get all my resources. I have 3 free guides, which is over 45 pages of intuitive eating material. I have 2 online self-paced courses. I have a guided meditation. I have a podcast relaunching in January with listener questions and guests. And you guys are the first to hear this. I'm making this public right now. Seriously, I haven't said a word about this yet. I'm going to have a 10-week summer intensive group coaching program. So if you want to hear how to get the early bird special on that, follow me on Instagram and sign up for my email list. I cannot wait to talk to more of you guys. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you to Girls Night Live as well.
This is wonderful. This is amazing. You'll have to come on to the Girls Night Live marketplace, and then when your classes are up, they'll know and they'll be able to sign up.
Yes, for sure.
This is wonderful. Thank you so much, Alana. This is amazing. I think it's a great way to live your life.
For
it's
sure.
really more about lifestyle.
Yes.
So I think it's wonderful. And everyone watching here today, as I put into the chat, you will receive the PowerPoint presentation for anyone that signed up and registered for the Zoom presentation. It will come out to you in the thank you that we send out to everyone every day after the class. So this program is great. We thank you all for coming. And tomorrow night, our program is at Thursday. It's Thursday evening at 7:30. And we have journaling with Kim Guerrera, the badass Bonita. So that's at 7:30 tomorrow night Eastern. But really, thank you so